Right, we're judging today. We're judging a three-color koi. And this is the Shoku variety. It's a black-based koi with white markings and red markings. What you want, the old style Showas, the black was like a charcoal, and now they're getting to the point where they're developing the blacks on that, so it's more like a lacquer. This is the old style sumi on it, which is the black, and then you got the white, which is a white ground, which is what we call shoji, and that's really nice looking on this koi. And then the red he is what we're looking at too. One of the other things we want to look for is the body shape. She's got nice body shape. Ideally, the fins on the side, you see one side is red, the other one is black. Ideally, you'd like to have them both black on both sides and evenly balanced. Also, the idea is if you take the black off of it, you should have what we call a kohaku, which is the white fish with the red pattern on it. And this would be like a 1-2 step kohaku if we did that. What we're looking for also is not how the black being real uniform, nice and dark. We're also looking at the red as being uniform and solid, and we're looking at white. We like to see the white sort of like snow or like a canvas, almost like his shirt. So we've got we have 4 others we're going to go look at. So if you'd like to follow us, we'll go and we'll talk about them. Alright,
He always went at the other one.
I'm on the other side now. So we're all going to be on the other side if you want to wander over. Pat's going to talk to us about this show in this tank.
And the show that we're referring to the 3-colored fish
I
here.
see a big one.
And if you look
Another
like Jerry
big.
said at the other tanks, that's what we're looking for, is the 3 colors.
He's touching one.
And it would be nice to see a little bit more white on the face of this fish. And Showa, you want to have all 3 colors on the face and the head. There's a little bit in the cheek area. It'll move itself up probably as it gets older. But it has, a nice pattern to it. At least the black. The Motogro, that's the black in the fins that are tucked up tight to the body. It's very nice. And this is a softer
I like the girl.
red, not like the
Show
shirt,
you
like
all
we
the
mentioned.
pictures.
And there's different shades and
The
colors of
body.
red.
The
So
body was
ideally, we like it like his shirt. But there's other varieties that'll never get that way. It has a nice body conformation. The white's good.
And as Pat was saying, there are 2 different types of he or red. There is the persimmon, which is this is more like it, and then there's the blue red, which would be like the shirt. And ideally, you'd prefer the persimmon type of red. Okay, moving on, we're going down to tank 9. This way. We're going to have Luann, our other cohort, discuss this showing here in this tank.
This one gives you a totally different feel because there is so much more white on this fish. This one's size 5, size 4. It's got a lot more white. Still just not sparkling. And the pectoral fins are much different because you don't have Motogro on this one. You've got a stripe pack on the left and one little stripe on the right side. And something I'd like to ask the other 2 judges' opinions on here, because you see a lot of it coming out of fish in Japan. You look at both pecks on this one, and the leading ray is that look more 2/3 kind of leading ray. Some judges I know don't even want to look at a peck that looks like that. And in Japan now, you see more and more bloodlines that have this style peck. What's your thought?
It doesn't bother me at all.
It doesn't, it's balanced. If
Yeah.
one was and the other wasn't,
Yeah,
that would
it's
bother
balance
me.
is what it comes down to, is the balance.
It doesn't bother me at all either, but I know
No,
some
we do,
folks,
we do.
and they just they don't want to hear about that peck
Yeah.
that doesn't go all the way in.
Look
It
at
is
the overall of the fish, and that's
And the other thing is, this is more of a what they call new style or Kindai Showa. And the Kindai Showa has more white on it versus the traditional. This other Showa is closer to a traditional, which is more black and red than white. When you start having more white, and the reason they went with adding more white, because the white helps the other two colors really stand out. I mean, it's art. You take a white canvas and put the other colors on it, and they're going to stand out. And that's why it's become more favorable in people who are keeping Showas to have a Kindai Showa than the traditional.
Has
I'm
a lot more
old-fashioned,
white
but-
on the face. A lot more white on this
they're
one.
both enjoyable.
They are.
It's just
They are.
The
matter of
sumi's
preference.
not quite as intense on this fish.
But from a judging standpoint, it doesn't play a relevance into the score.
What's that?
The Kendai versus the
No,
old school.
You look at them all the same. I mean, you know, you're looking at a Kindai, so you know what you're expecting to see in a Kindai versus a traditional Showa. But overall, it's the overall beauty of the koi is what we're looking for. I mean, bottom line, if it's a Kindai and it's not that great, well, it's not going to do well. If it's a traditional, it's not that great, same thing. The overall, it's a beauty contest, so you got to look at the overall fish. We're going to go over to Tank 6 next.
Well, this would be considered more of the old style show with approaching 70% sumi or black. We really don't see any white on the face. Come on.
So would you consider that a he show?
What?
not with that much white.
Yeah.
The rest of the body,
It's-
I would.
it's-
It's a little more, too much white to be considered a Showa.
I'm not sure it's moving its right pectoral fin as well as the left. Well, now I did.
Yeah, I noticed that at first, but every now and then, okay,
Wait a second.
I'll fool you.
Yeah.
Every now and then, but it's not like it's swimming.
It's trained or something. One of the big debates about sumi is the amount of finish, and some fish, even no matter how big they get, they will have an element of gray in the sumi, particularly in the older sumi. And that's just considered part of the aesthetic value.
It's a nice head pattern going on. There's just some more white. They make it more desirable. Nice fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is what we call a kage showa. It's a showa like the others, but not all the sumi is up. It's kind of scattered, I guess, or lightly colored. So it's got to compete against the other shows that we're looking at. Again, you look at the body shape, conformation. You make sure we've got to make sure all the parts are there. Make sure the spine is nice and straight. We're watching at her as she swims away from us and towards us. Again, you got the he that's on her is real nice underneath. And then I'd like to see a little more he up further front, but and a little more white, but I'm not.
Still, it's striking because
It's a striking koi.
because of the hogging or the gray, the black reticulation.
You sure that's female?
Sure, it's finished.
Female.
Oh, a female? I don't. Yeah. It's striking.
There you go. Stands right out.
All right, come on, Billy. There we go.
Why did you say something about a show? Oh. Here I'm looking at that one. Let me see, black one?
I said the thick of the head.
Oh, here.
If you just eliminate the red, make it black and white.
I know. That's the whole
All right.
What's wrong with the summer? Oh, you're not anymore?
And I'm thinking, show up Sunday. I'm trying to.
Grab your posted video on the left. Back over looking at it.
I would think so.
That's what they said.
Are you still doing showers?
Huh?
Are you still doing showers?
Richard, which one?
Well, 220.
Luann? Pat?
Okay, thank you.
Oh! They're training me, man. I
Look
got.
how bare this one is on the
All right,
front.
what tank was that?
Behind the shoulders, you know, got nothing in that area. Assume you may come up, just fill that area in. That's good. Put a count there
So
now.
that makes
Not even
133
a
number. Did white base with the red pattern on it. And the red on it is kind of like a lightning, so it's one from the head all the way back. So it's a moy on it. It's kind of in a zuma for us because it's kind of like a lightning bolt. So this is one we're considering. Now we're going to wander over to tank 10, and that'll be the second.
Now, are we looking at the show here? Or?
Even though it
You know, that looks like a big pattern on what? The dorsal fin? Just don't like the head. See how that comes down on the right side?
You know, again, we're looking at a two-color fish. And the red on it from the head all the way back is even, is nice. I wish it had more of a break, more white in it. It'd make it more interesting. And that's the one thing that's, I quoted this one back.
Big
Is,
one.
wish there were more of a break and more of a pattern. It makes it interesting. Like I said, it's a beauty contest. I mean, it's nice, but
But what it's up against, the one corner over there, it has, again, one solid pattern, but there's more interest, so it's, you see more white.